Before I get into the video, guys, as with the previous Limit Break 3 upgrade preview video, we are going to be doing a giveaway for Fast Characters. It's going to be pretty much the same rules. So no Gold Mythic Challenge Run characters and no Gold Mythic Trial characters. You don't have to worry too much about Mythic Trials just yet for Fast, but that's just a heads up. You'll be able to choose whichever character you want if your name is drawn out of a hat. All of the giveaways are going to be drawn in the same live stream, and I'm going to be announcing them on my Discord. I'm also going to be showing them in the intro of a video. Thank you very much for tuning in. Now into the video. Hello survivors, and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video. And in this video we're going to be taking a look at the Limit Break 3 upgrades for Fast Gold Mythic characters, and the character we're going to start off with is going to be Gold Mythic Tyreese. We're going to go in order of release, and we can see the visuals of Tyreese. Pretty brutal looking as he does on the left hand side. He looks on the right hand side now. If we look at the upgrades that he gets, he does get a little boost to his adrenaline rush, a 40% increase to the damage he's going to do, which is basically 10% of where it was before. It's now gone up to 440%. It will require you to upgrade it with military supplies, so it's going to cost you a fair bit. But Tyreese is one of these weird characters where he doesn't actually require any passive upgrades to improve his rush. So I know a lot of people have not touched his passives like myself just to use his rush. Now he is going to get a boost on his signature move, and it is going to get a 75% attack boost or damage boost as well, going from 150% to 225% damage, which is pretty reasonable. Of course, that is first turn, and because he's already had 2 upgrades, he's less likely to have a passive upgrade, and indeed he is not going to get any passive upgrades at all. So that's it for Tyreese. Damage boost on his signature move, damage boost on his rush, which is pretty decent. Honestly, he is a damage dealer, kind of what you would want, but I still think he's going to obviously fall behind other characters that have since been released. Next up, we have Gold Mythic Shiva, and I think this no entry sign on the side of her, like an armor piece, is new. I didn't actually see it before on her art on the left hand side, but I think at Limit Break 3 that is brand new. We'll see what boost she gets. Does she get a rush increase? She does not, so her rush is done and dusted as it was before. So she's going to get a signature move increase, and she is a first turn sig move, and she's going to get 5% of this character's attack in bleed damage. So it goes up to 20% of this character's attack in bleed damage off of turn 1. This is going to be good for various game modes. You could potentially use on her own challenge run, conquest, potentially in the future faction assault. She could be used on a potential bleed team, but bleed is obviously falling off a little bit now because of the counters that are in place. Lastly, she is going to get bleed them dry. When attacking, 50% chance all burn and bleed effects on the opponent will be extended by 2 turns. So she has a 100% chance for all burn and bleed effects on the opponent to be extended by 2 turns that she attacks. That is actually nuts. That is really powerful. Really, really powerful for faction assault, because she can double it with her lacerator, and she can extend bleed for 2 turns with her just a basic attack, just a normal attack. A signature move will do it as well. I don't think her rush will, because it's a single. Is it a single hit or is it a multi-hit? Yeah, so her rush won't, but because it's 2 turns, she's always going to get an attack off unless she gets controlled. But that is a really good boost, actually. For the type of things that she's going to be used in, she's going to be, like, immense. Faction Assault, for instance, she's going to be absolutely godlike. Now we have Jesus, and visually he doesn't seem to have changed that much. He might have got, like, the quiver on his back. I'm not 100% sure what he had at Limit Break 2. Don't see too many Jesuses around. He is quite hard to come by. We'll see if he gets an adrenaline rush improvement. He does. He gets 25% per attack, so not really that big a deal. As a support character, you would have preferred maybe someone else getting disarmed, I guess, or maybe a longer disarm. Next up, we do have his signature move, and nothing's going to change here. And lastly, we'll check out his passives. We'll scroll all the way down. He is going to get, when this character performs the disarming specialist skill, the target also gets minus 15% attack for 2 turns, and that is Disarm Expert 2, so it would stack with Disarm Expert 1, so it'll be minus 30% attack on characters that he targets, which isn't really that big a deal. It could be nice for something like Faction Assault again, where you have targeted attack down. It could be good for certain challenge run or conquest stages potentially, but that is a heavy investment just to get that, but it could have some usages. Now we have Gregory, and again, visually, I don't see this guy too much, so I don't really notice too much about how much he's changed visually. We're going to check out where he gets the boosts. Adrenaline Rush is going to remain the same. I would have liked to see this go to 55 AP, because obviously he's mainly a defense team character. That would have been obviously the nice way to go. He is going to get a signature move increase, and honestly his signature move is his better thing. Target gets attack up block for 2 turns. This is not too bad. This is not too bad. This is going to counter strong attack weapons, for instance. They won't be able to proc on that particular character. On a roll, it will stop on a roll from procking. Not too bad, but not that amazing. It's only going to be the target, unfortunately. And lastly, he is going to get a passive upgrade. When killed, all enemies get minus 15 AP, and that stacks with the previous one. So minus 30 AP when he is taken out, which is, again, not too bad, but a signature move will be able to get you into position to still rush, and a command can just rush you if that did happen. But it is all enemies, so that is obviously a big bonus. But yeah, I think a little bit too late for Gregory. I think if he could have had some small tweaks, and I think he would have potentially been reasonable. Now we have Glenn. Glenn I use a lot on Conquest, so I'm actually interested to see what he gets here. His Rush, does he get a boost on his Rush? He does. He gets a 40% damage boost. I do not use him for damage, so this isn't going to do too much. It would have been nice to see maybe extra enemies getting hit, so the AP drain went to multiple enemies. I would have preferred to see his signature move get improved, actually, and it's not. We're going to see if his passive does. Let's have a little look. What's his passive going to get? Whenever this character performs an action that includes an AP drain effect, 50% chance this character gets 12 AP. So he gets 100% chance to get 12 AP whenever he AP drains somebody. That isn't actually that bad, but his rush isn't really that great. That's the thing. Like, he's gaining AP to do a rush that isn't really that great. I'd say his rush is probably the weakest part of his kit, because the reason I like his signature move is because it can crit and he can still give AP to other people. His basic attacks can crit, can give AP to other people, but his rush cannot. His rush cannot crit, so he's not giving AP to other people. So he's basically getting the thing that is honestly the worst part of his kit quicker, so it's not as big a deal. On Conquest and stuff, I generally don't rush unless I have to, in terms of like having to control people. So this isn't amazing, but I think Glenn already does what he's there to do. He's going to be giving you some AP when he crits. Good for challenge run, good for Conquest. Now we have Gator, and Gator was one of those characters that had a lot of usage early on in the Mythic era and kind of fell off a little bit. I think his upgrades weren't that great, honestly. He was very tanky early on. Visually, this is what he's going to look like. Does not get the croc in the hand. I didn't think anybody thought that was going to happen. He does not go to 55 AP, but he does get a rush upgrade and plus 1 turn of camouflage. This character and 2 teammates get camouflage. I mean, that's not terrible. I guess camouflage is pretty good in raids and stuff on defense teams. It stops AoE damage. It stops non-targeted damage, which isn't terrible. But it's obviously not fantastic. You can see the ones that messed up. The Limit Break 2 gave him a damage increase. He doesn't need damage. He doesn't need damage. Next up, we're going to see if his signature move gets upgraded. It does not, so his signature move is done as well. And again, Limit Break 2 just got damage. This is where, like, Limit Break 2 is where Gator just completely fell off. And then we'll see at Limit Break 3 he gets, when gaining a Guardian Shield, 50% chance to gain Elusive for 1 turn. So when he gets a Guardian Shield off of his passive, when he gets a Guardian Shield off of his signature move, he has a 100% chance to get Elusive for 1 turn. So even if you remove that Guardian Shield, you're not going to get AP. So it's less incentive to remove the Guardian Shield to attack him, and that means there's more chance for his aggro to stack. This isn't actually that bad, but yeah, he's kind of missing upgrades. You can see all of his upgrades on his passive on one screen. And he's only got 1 of his skills have gone to 2. Hidden Defender 2. Strength always gets a second one. So he's not really got that much like power in this, honestly. He didn't really get enough upgrades. A lot of his upgrades went into just like these 2 upgrades, just unfortunately not very useful at all. It's better to actually not attack than attack when getting a Guardian Shield, because then you can't be controlled, or But anyway, it is what it is. I think he's got a boost a little bit from this, but he definitely has fallen off since the beginning of the Mythic era for sure. Next up is Carl, and as predicted, he is going to lose the arms on his shirt. He is going to become basically as it is on the left-hand side. You can sort of see the scorpion on his right arm. And Carl looks cool. He's obviously got the weapon in his hand from the battle pass. I don't think there's enough that can be done with one limit break to save this guy. What's he going to get? 40% damage. Again, it's the same thing as Gator. It's just like getting damage upgrades when, yeah, that's not going to really do too much for him. Limit break 3 on his signature move is not going to happen. And on his passives, he's going to get, when attacking while having elusive status, 50% chance this character gets 10 AP. I mean, that's not actually that bad. That's actually not that bad. But again, he's gaining AP to do a rush, which is, I think, just kind of average. I mean, it's okay, I guess. It does actually hit reasonably hard, but this is a character that just didn't make much sense. Where is he going to be played? Attack? Probably not. Not doing enough for his teammates. A defense? Not really tanky enough. It's a weird character. It's a weird character. I've said this before. The only time I've ever seen Carl be dangerous was on Conquest when there was 2 of him, and they both put up the elusive for 2 turns, and then got the rushes off, and obviously gave elusive to a lot of people that way, and that was a problem. And that was one, I think, in Conquest 1 or 2. But you can't use 2 Carls. So unless another character comes along that has similar kit, which I don't think people want to see. No one wants to see another Carl. I think this guy is pretty much it. He's pretty much it. Now we have Alpha. And Alpha does get the full upgrade. She looks exactly as she does on the left-hand side. You'll see a little bit of a mirror image, like her right arm becomes her left arm, her left arm becomes her right arm. That's kind of how it works based on which way they're facing. But you can see Alpha visually looks pretty cool. We're going to check out her upgrades. She's had some pretty good ones. I'd say out of all of the mythics I can really think of, she went from being a decent character in the start of the mythic era, and she's progressively got better because she's actually got some pretty decent upgrades on Limit Break 3. She's not going to get an upgrade to her rush, which she has already. The 10% infection there was nice, even though it wasn't that big a deal. 10% infection isn't that big a deal. It is nice. She's getting a boost where you'd kind of want it. Her signature move is going to get a buff, and it's going to be another 10% infection. 70% infection for 2 turns. That's, again, nice. It's going to be harder to heal with fast healing weapons. I think that means 2 fast healing weapons with 2 characters cannot heal this now. I think that's what this means. Is that what it means? 10%? No, actually, it's not. It's not. But if you have some heal reduction on there, then it's going to obviously be easier. And you're getting a boost to primarily how I think a lot of people use her, which is for the infection on Conquest and so on and so forth, and big dirty stuff in raids. When performing the Headhunter Specialist skill, 20% chance one other enemy gets crosshairs. I think that's probably one of her best passives as well. And that stacks with the first multitasking, so it goes up to 35% chance. So again, nice. It's nice that just crosshairs goes onto another enemy. Can't complain too much about that. She's getting the buffs for the reason that I think the majority of people actually use Alpha as a character. Now we move over to King Zeke, and he is the first, obviously, promo to come out in the game. And we're going to see what he gets, and going forward, these are all going to be the since release characters. We've seen all the pre-release characters effectively. King Zeke gets the visuals as is seen. We'll see what sort of rush upgrade he gets. He gets another 50% defense boost, so it goes up to 400% defense buff. As if 350 or 300 wasn't enough already. But 400% defense buff. This is actually going to be nice with certain characters, should I say, in the team that get damage on main, damage on bleed, bonuses based on the defense. I use Ezekiel and Razzo in the same team, and I pop this rush before doing Razzo's, and yeah, Razzo suddenly does a 50k bleed. It's really nice. Next up is Barricade. Is this going to get a boost? It is not. So his signature move is as it is seen, and it's actually a pretty decent signature move. It is not bad at all. Guardian Shields, bonus HP, not too bad. What passive upgrade is he going to get? Let's have a little sneaky peek. When this character starts their turn, 50% chance this character and a teammate get Pain Split for 1 turn. This, honestly, is a real hit and miss passive. I personally don't like Pain Split, although it can be quite hard to deal with when it comes to Conquest. That means there'll be 100% chance there's going to be Pain Split. There are some massive downsides to Pain Split. But going forward, when we move on to Mythic Only Wars, then Pain Split might get a boost because you're only going to be Pain Split with characters with good heavy stats, generally speaking. So pain split will not be as bad as it was previously. Next up, we have Ivanova, who was the first character release in events, I believe. Quite an old standing character. Some people still use her. It is hard to come by her, so some people have still got her on grade 5, maybe managed to get her to limit break 1. It's going to be hard to get her up to limit break 3, unless things change. You can get her in the bit shop. We did see what she looked like visually just there. Does she get a rush increase? Nope. So her rush is going to remain the same. And she did get a nice limit break 2 upgrade. Her signature move is going to get an initial cooldown of -1. So it goes to turn 1 initial cooldown. So 200% off turn 1. And then this character gets attack up and 40 crit for 3 turns. The 3 turns is really important here, because if it was for 2 turns, she wouldn't actually buff her rush on turn 3. She would buff the turn she did the signature move, the next turn, and not the 3rd turn. But because it's 3 turns, it does buff the rush still, so this is absolutely fine. And then that means she should get a boost on her... I wonder what she's going to get here. What is she going to get? When targeted by an enemy adrenaline rush, 20% chance this character gets 100% halo for 1 turn. So she gets a 50% chance at halo if taken out by adrenaline rush. Actually, I don't even think if she gets taken out. If she just gets hit by an adrenaline rush that is targeted. So like if she's hit by the rampage damage, it doesn't count. But if she's targeted directly, even if she's not taken out, if she manages to tank multiple hits somehow, she's going to get a 50% chance to get 100% halo. That 100% halo means when you come back, you've got 100% HP. Dr. Stevens, I think the backpack is new. I'm not 100% certain. Some slight visual upgrades on some of these characters. Sure, a lot of people are interested in this. He does remain at 66 AP on a defense team character. Not ideal. He does get a limit break 3 upgrade here, though. And he gets a 10% increase to bonus HP, which is... I guess it's okay. It's okay. Giving 3 teammates 20% bonus HP. He will give them a slightly better bonus HP based on the fact that he is a medic. And he's going to get a bonus because of his medic passive if you upgrade it. But an extra 10% off base. Next up is his signature move. It's not going to get any upgrades. This is kind of, surprising, honestly. It hasn't had many upgrades. Generally speaking, you'd assume this would be where the upgrade would be, but it's not going to be here. And his Adrenaline Rush is going to get Glorious Resurrection 2. When revived, 20% chance to gain 100% AP. This, of course, stacks with the first half, so he's got a 40% chance when he gets revived to get 100% AP now. Personally, I never had that big an issue with this. It rarely ever procced for me. I've had people say that it procs all the time for them. Well, now it's going to proc more often. 40% chance is nearly, nearly 50%. It's nearly 50-50. So obviously it's going to proc a lot more often once he gets the limit break 3. Obviously he can only revive once naturally via Halo because of his specialist skill, but every time he's revived by someone else, it will have a chance to proc this as well. Martinez, we'll move on to Martinez. Visually is as you see him. Don't see him too much, so again, not 100% certain if he's got too much of a visual upgrade there. If we look at his signature move, his rush, you can see he gets a 100% damage boost. It's not great. I thought his confused target limit break 2 was awesome. Confusing 3 is awesome. The damage boost, not so much. It would have been cool if it was like an extra turn. That would have been nuts. 3 for 3. That would have been crazy. But I think you could probably assume that it's most likely going to happen where it's going to be 100% damage boost. Or he could have damaged 3 instead of 2. I guess it could have been 400% to 3. But it is what it is. He's going to get a boost. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. Signature move is going to get a boost as well. And the disarm duration is going to get extended. So the enemy that he focuses with that critical attack is going to be disarmed for 3 turns rather than just 2. That should mean he does not get a passive upgrade. And indeed he is not. So I think Martinez is actually a pretty good character for Challenge Run. You don't have too many characters within Fast that can do some control. So overall I think reasonable. Limit break 3 upgrades is so-so, but I think his overall upgrades have been pretty decent. Okay, so next up is Jessie Anderson, and I think she was kind of an underrated character when she was first released. I think she's actually pretty good. In Conquest, she's crazy levels of good. Visually, I don't know too much. She's probably just got a bit more war-torn as a Limit Break 3 character. We'll check out her upgrades. At Limit Break 3, she is going to get a 25% increase to the infection on her rusher. It goes from 35% to a line of enemies for 2 turns to 60%. And that's going to be a lot harder to deal with, whether it be on a defense team or an attack team. It doesn't really matter too much. Next up, we have got her signature move, and she's not going to get an increase here. I'm kind of hoping that she doesn't get an increase to her heal here, because on Conquest, it's nuts. Her heal is crazy levels. And her limit break 3 is going to be... Oh, I saw Perfect Health. I was like, no. A 20% heal reduction resistance. It does stack with the first half to make it 60%. And while that is still dangerous, it obviously is one of the things that you want to actually try and get on her in Conquest. I think it's going to be problematic unless you've got a high-level Mike or a high-level Alpha, primarily Alpha, in terms of dealing with this character on Conquest. You can take it down by pure damage, but there are some stages which are more infection stages, and Jessie Anderson is generally that character left at the end, and it's problematic, guys. You know what it's like. Now we move on to the big boy. It is Zachary. Visually, I don't see too much of a difference. Does he just get the rifle on his back? I don't recall him having the rifle on his back in gameplay. Someone will have to confirm that with me. Let's see what he gets for his boosts. He has had some pretty nice limit breaks so far. And on his rush, he's going to get a 200% damage boost. This is actually not great in terms of what he's getting a damage boost, but because it's so high, this is actually pretty decent. This is actually pretty decent. Not too bad. Obviously with aggro, the aggro, he gets 100% attack boost at 800%, so it's going to be nuts. So this isn't terrible. It's an instant upgrade as well. No military supplies required. But I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. He's going to get a boost to his rush here. I think most people would have preferred a boost to his signature move. Does he get a boost to his signature move and no boost to his passive? Nope. It's going to be a boost to his passive. That Guardian Shield at Limit Break 2 was crazy as well. What's the passive upgrade going to be? Let's have a little see. Is it going to be the big one? Bloodbath. At the start of each wave, up to 5 enemies get 10% of this character's attack in bleed damage for 2 turns. That stacks with Bloodbath 1, which is 30%, so it goes up to 40% bleed. Bloodbath. At the start of each wave, up to 5 enemies get 40% of this character's attack in bleed damage for 2 turns. Yum yum, yum yum. This guy is going to make a little bit of a comeback on defense teams, I think. He's obviously still going to be usable in things like Conquest. I use him all the time in Conquest. I think he's a great wave clear character, and this is going to obviously improve the amount of damage he's going to do with that bleed. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of bleed, guys. This is going to be really crazy. Right now I can get 25k without even blinking, and yeah, it's going to get boosted nice. So I think overall Zachary's had some pretty good upgrades. This 200% is questionable in that, like, it isn't the most important part of his kit, but it's going to make something that was okay from time to time. Like, you could get to that last character alive, and then Zachary's aggro would come in, and then his rush would just, and it's just going to be amplified even further now. That's the best single target upgrade I think we've seen. I think the best I've seen other than that is 100% damage boost. So yeah, kind of crazy. Now, as mentioned in the intro of the video, guys, we are doing a giveaway, and the way you can enter is simply typing what you see on the screen, which is the Fast LB3 I like the most? But type a character before this entry phrase. Make sure you type the entry phrase exactly as you see it. So for instance, if your favorite LB3 upgrade is Tyreese, type Tyreese is the Fast LB3 I like the most. It doesn't matter which character you choose as your favorite LB3 upgrade. It is not the character you're choosing for your giveaway win. If you win the giveaway, you can choose whatever character you want from those fast characters available at that point. Don't worry too much about which character you choose here. Just tell me which one you like the most. However, if you do not type a character name at the beginning, I will just assume you're a bot and you're not actually entering properly. You are going to be voided and passed over if your name comes out of the hat. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Type this phrase as you see it and put the character that you like the most in the LB3 upgrades for Fast at the beginning. Make sure you type it exactly as you see it though. There were quite a few people in the strong video which just randomly put a word in there that didn't exist in the phrase or changed the word. It has to be exactly like you see it on the screen, or the software I use will not pick up your entry. Best of luck, and back to the video. Gold Mythic Negan 2000. This is the payback character, of course. I think he did used to have 2 of these Lucille's in his hands, right? But now he's only got 1 and a pistol. Interesting. I'm pretty sure that's right. I always remember him holding 2. That's weird. That's weird. We're going to look at his adrenaline rush here, and it is going to get 100% damage increase. Yeah, we see this quite a lot on like support characters or tanks which are meant to be on defense teams. This isn't going to really do too much. I don't really know what. I mean, I guess he could have got a camouflage increase. I would have liked to see him get a heal over time, you know, or maybe a control in there, even if it was just a 1 character control, like taunt 1 character for 1 turn or something like that. Just something else than damage would have been great. Does he get a boost to his signature move? He is. It's going to be a 50%. Yeah, Negan's getting the Mercer treatment right now. Unfortunately, Negan is getting the Mercer treatment. And, well, it is where it is. He's not really getting much of a limit breakthrough upgrade. I guess he's not going to get anything in his passives. His passive were not great because everything relied on payback. And he's not going to get anything here. So, yeah, probably the worst upgrade so far. Just damage increases on a character that's just going to sit on a defense team. I'm not really so sure about this one, guys. Now we have our man Skins, and he's looking pretty Hunchback of Notre Dame right now. I'm not sure what he got visually. Maybe some extra chains, or what is it? Are these torches, unlit torches in his back, like backpack. I think those are going to be the visual upgrades. If we look at his adrenaline rush, he will get a 50% increase to his damage per attack, so 100% total, doing 600% overall. Not terrible. I guess he's more of an attack team medic, so him doing a little bit more damage is not a terrible thing. His signature move is still turn 1, and that is actually a little bit of a disappointment because, like I said with Ivanova, his buff only lasts 2 turns, so he's not going to buff his own rush. I would have liked to see maybe that get extended by 1 turn. It should have probably happened with the Limit Break 2, you know, -1 starting cooldown, +1 for attack buff, you know. Wouldn't have been that big a deal. But now he's not going to be rushing with the attack buff unless he's got heavy AP gain team, which isn't impossible, but yeah. Now we're going to check out the passive upgrade, and he is going to get Critical Procedure 2. When this character performs a critical hit, 30% chance 1 teammate recovers from a single penalty. That obviously stacks with the first half to make it 60% total. This is actually not too bad because you're going to build him crit anyway, because his specialist skill relies on him hitting crit. He was the first combat medic, which means when you hit a crit, I think it's a certain percentage, I think it's like 25% of your attack is given to your teammates as bonus HP. So it's very worth doing. And this being like a single target cleanse is nice for an attack team. It's nice. The thing is, if characters have 2 penalties on them, and one's quite basic, let's say like a 10% attack down, and one's like a 50k bleed, it's RNG at that point, baby. RNG, it could go to either one, and it could take away the 10% attack down, and that character's getting taken out the next turn. That's just the way it goes. That's just the way it goes. Rosita. So Rosita is losing a bit of the jacket. She's showing a bit of shoulder. All right, calm yourself down. Calm yourself down. Visually, she's doing the same on the left-hand side, to be fair. And we're going to check out her skills. Is she going to get a boost to her adrenaline rush? She is. And it gets another defense down target. I think this is all right. I think she already does enough damage. She didn't really need to get a damage boost. She did actually have 200% damage boost herself. So kind of like Zachary, like I was saying. So she was getting some pretty nice boosts. But yeah, this isn't too bad. I can't really see another thing that could have been added to this. Maybe defense down in terms of how much it does. But if she nukes 1 character, 3 of the remaining 4 characters have got defense down. Not terrible. It's not terrible for her teammates, that's for sure. Does she get a signature move upgrade? I would assume not, yeah, because she's got a pretty heavy signature move. Turn 1, 0 turn cooldown already. She's got a massive cooldown reduction at Limit Break 2. Honestly, that was probably one of the best Limit Break 2 upgrades. -3. I like that a lot. What's she going to get for her passives? There's going to be some damage increase. When attacking, 20% chance one other enemy gets disarmed for 2 turns. Not terrible. That means she has a 40% chance that just attacking, she doesn't have to hit a crit, she doesn't have to hit a disarm, she just has to attack. So theoretically she could disarm someone even when she doesn't disarm the target that she's attacking. So she theoretically, is it one other? Okay, I was going to say she could theoretically not hit a crit on the target she's attacking and then still disarm it because it could select that one. But it probably is going to be one of the other targets, just based on the wording. But this isn't terrible. More disarms is good. I would say out of all like the disarms that we have so far, Rosita is one of the worst in terms of disarms for her teammates because she blows characters up too much. Like, she's less likely to leave someone alive disarmed than, let's say, Carl and let's say Wayland, whereas those characters are more disarms for their teammates. Rosita's more of a disarm for herself. So this is the part that's going to help her teammates. So it getting a boost is nice. Gold Mythic Tara. In terms of the visual upgrades, I'm not really sure what's happened here. Probably some more studs on the jacket, looking very lethal indeed. Let's see how much more lethal she looks within her kit. She's going to get no increase to her adrenaline rush. Okay. Signature move. She's going to get 30% increase to max HP damage. So now she does 80% of someone's max HP in damage. So let's say someone has 100,000 HP, she's going to hit him for 80,000 on a turn 2 signature move. This honestly counters certain characters on attack teams like Gold Mythic Rick. She can attack the command, and normally the command is pretty sturdy, but she's just going to bypass all that defense. It's going to be useless, and she's going to wreck. This can be potentially good on other game modes. For instance, those stages where characters have like hundreds of thousands of HP if you don't have infection, stun weapons and stuff to deal with that. I'm not sure how this is going to translate into Faction Assault. Surely this doesn't work in Faction Assault. I think they're probably going to add something like maximum of 100,000 damage or something like that. You know, like they're going to cap the amount of damage this can be done at. Percentages scale ridiculously high. Obviously, it's endless when it's like this. So, yeah, I don't think they can have this happen with Faction Assault. He's just like nearly one-shotting bosses on her turn 2 signature move. She's going to get a passive upgrade. Let's see what she gets. She's going to get a 40% max HP base. Damn. Fighting Fit 2 stacks with Fighting Fit 1, which I think is 20%. And it is indeed. So she's going to get a 60% HP boost because of this passive. Let's just double check it in the passives. There it is. 60% max HP. She's going to have nuts levels of HP. And isn't she a HP leader as well? Yeah, so she's getting crazy amounts of HP. Nuts. Nuts, nuts, nuts. You could just give her more passives. Give her more on her combat mods or lean a bit more to defense. I definitely go with HP on the weapon because I think it multiplies with all these things. So this is a character that legitimately could get up to like 100,000 HP. Tara is a HP tank for sure. Now, this is a character I think a lot of people are interested in, and visually, I'm 99% sure it's the sword on her back. I've not seen this before. Looks pretty cool. I like it. So visually, this is Limit Break 3 Lydia. Will she get an Adrenaline Rush upgrade? No. So no boosted Adrenaline Rush. Her Adrenaline Rush is crazy strong anyway. Really high damage. Lots of control. Really good. Her signature move is going to get a buff just to the support side of things, which I don't think is terrible. Up to 3 teammates recover from bleed. This is not too bad at all. This means that she could be in a team with someone like Juan, and Juan has potential to do resists for 2 teammates, and she could cleanse the other one. So that could work. She could obviously work in a team with Hershel already, but if you don't manage to get yourself on with Hershel, if you stack some bleed resists, you know, only 2 need not only need 2 need to actually get the resist now rather than 3. So it's looking a bit more decent. I don't mind that at all. She already does crazy damage, so she doesn't really need that off there. What is she going to get here on her passives? She's going to get Gruesome Display 2. When killing a target, 20% chance an enemy gets normalized for 2 turns. This stacks with the first half, which I believe is 20% also. It's 40%. She's got a 60% chance to normalize a target. Gruesome Display, when killing a target, 60% chance an enemy gets normalized for 2 turns. Obviously, this means it's better than 50-50 now, rather than worse. So I'd say that's probably one of the best upgrades she could have got. And I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. I think Lydia's had some pretty good upgrades here. Now we're just talking of Juan and Hershel, and they're the next 2 characters we're going to be taking a look at. Juan has got the full visuals. I think he's got the cape now on his back. And we're going to switch over to the Adrenaline Rush. He does not get a Limit Break 3 upgrade here, but he will get one on his signature move. He just gets a 50% damage boost. Not that big a deal, honestly. Not that big a deal. It is turn 1. A lot of fast characters have turn 1 signature moves on attack, but it's not that big a deal. It's okay. I would have liked to see maybe more teammates get the attack buff, so like 4 teammates instead of 3. What's this passive going to be? Is it going to be more people getting resist or more chance to resist? All fast teammates get 15% bonus trait advantage damage. I should have guessed. Just like Valkyrie, it's going to go up to 30% total. There we go. Where is it? Speed's advantage. All fast teammates get 30% bonus trait advantage damage. This stacks with leader skills. This also stacks with other characters that have similar passives. For instance, the recently released Isabelle has all fast teammates get X amount of damage. This is going to stack with that in terms of damage output. So having them in the same team, you're going to greatly amplify the damage output of those characters being fast. So challenge run, potentially percentage damage could have a bit of a boost. Gold Mythic Headless Hershel, very much a standout visual character in the game. I don't see too much of a difference between him now and Limit Break 2. He's still got the pumpkin head in his hands, and he's still got the eyes peeking through the neck. I don't think too much else has changed. Maybe some extra grass in his shoe, in his boots. I'm not 100% certain here. Let's see what boost he gets. No Adrenaline Rush upgrade. I think his Adrenaline Rush was pretty good already. Crosshairs was nice. The damage is pretty decent. He's going to get a signature move upgrade then. 2 bleed recovery targets. Attack 1 enemy for 200% damage. Up to 5 teammates recover from bleed. So it's going to be a full team bleed cleanse. This is kind of weird, honestly. It's really powerful, but you're almost always going to use a Lydia in a team with Headless Hershel in it, right? Like, she's just that good. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Full team cleanse on bleed. It does mean long term. You don't necessarily have to use Lydia on those teams, and you can still get the cleanse in. And this is obviously going to be very problematic. Very problematic for bleed characters on defense teams. If it wasn't already problematic for them on attack teams already, it's going to be very problematic for them on defense teams now going forward. Okay, so we'll check out his passive upgrades, and let's have a little scroll down. And you can see he gets Not So Tough. When attacking a target with the Tough trait, that target gets 50% heal reduction for 1 turn. That stacks with the first half of Not So Tough, making a 100% chance. If I scroll up here, you can see Not So Tough. When attacking a target with the Tough trait, that target gets 100% heal reduction for 1 turn. It is worth noting that I don't think this blocks Halo. I know a lot of people probably think, I could do this on someone like Vance and it will block Halo. I'm fairly certain that heal reduction does not block Halo. I remember this being a thing. I could be wrong. But it might reduce the amount of HP they have when revived. But if it's 100% reduction in 1 HP, I'm not sure. This is going to require testing. And I don't have my hands on these characters to actually test, but I can see the visuals. That's all I can see right now. But I'll test this out once it fully comes out just to see. But this is interesting. It does mean other characters won't get revived though. Characters that don't have Halo, which could be useful in certain circumstances if you don't land a crosshairs or something. Now we're going to move on to the current event characters, which are going to be Gold Mythic Isabelle first, and then obviously Gold Mythic Old Man Gregor. Visually, Isabelle, I think, gets the daggers on her back, or the swords on her back, just in case she's not armed enough. Look at all the daggers on her legs, on her sides, and then yeah, I think she's geared. I think she's got one on her on her collarbone as well. Very interesting. We'll see what she gets as a boost. Her Adrenaline Rush gets 100% attack boost per attack. So it goes from 3 attacks of 200% to 3 attacks of 300%. This is a big boost. 900% total instead of 600%. It is a bit of a hefty addition to the amount of damage output she's going to have. Her signature move is not going to get a boost, but that was already pretty powerful. I could only really see a damage boost happening here. What's she going to get on these passives? Is it going to be another boost to the all fast teammates get 15% attack? So now fast teammates are going to get 30% attack boost from her and her team. She's basically a second leader in that team. And she could potentially hold a crit weapon and not lose out from not having a 1535. And then she'd be buffing the person on the other side of the leader, which a 1535 would not be doing, because this buffs everybody. This is actually really powerful. This is really good. All fast teammates get 30% attack. I'm going to see attack numbers really high, on especially on the leader. You know, if you've got Hershel lead, Lydia, and Isabelle, those attack numbers are just going to go through the roof. And this is going to, I think, this happens before the fight starts. So if you put her on a team with Zachary, he's going to get a 30% attack boost before the fight starts, which should amplify his bleed. And in Conquest and Challenge Run, you know you need those numbers as high as possible. And this is going to help. And lastly, we have Old Man Gregor, and he is the harder to come by character in the current event. If we take a look at his visuals, I think he just gets a bit more gruesome looking. I think he gets another pig's head attached to his side. I think that's new at Limit Break 3. We'll check out his upgrades on his rush and so forth. He is not going to get a rush upgrade. Does that mean he gets a signature move upgrade? I think his signature move is pretty good. It's a turn 1, and it gets a -1 cooldown, so it goes to 0 turn cooldown. Okay, this is actually pretty interesting at LB3. 10% of this character's attack in main damage to a line of enemies. Those enemies get 10% of this character's attack in bleed damage. So you're going to potentially be able to transform this character into... Let me just double check his Adrenaline Rush. Yeah, you're going to be able to transform this character into a character that's kind of like Andrea 2000, where you're not going to have attack versus if you're going to rely on the Maimon stuff. And Maimon Bleed does not take advantage of attack versus, so you can make him tanky in the top right hand corner on his mods, and offensive on the attack stat and the attack set, and then just tanky on the rest, so he's got some survivability. It's interesting. It's interesting. I think maybe on a defense team, you know, this is going to be pretty annoying, just this popping off all the time. Remember, it's to a line of enemies as well, not just a single enemy. So yeah, what does he get as a passive boost here? He gets, at the start of each turn, 50% chance all characters with bleed status take 2,000 bleed damage for 1 turn. That stacks with the first half. Is that right? Stuck Pig 1? Is it all the way up here? It is. So what does that go to? Is it 100% chance for... Yeah. At the start of each turn, 100% chance all characters with the bleed status take 2,000 bleed damage for 1 turn. So he's doing that passive all the time. And then he'll just be adding 2,000 bleed to everyone who's got it. So he could do it to the bottom line, top line, bottom line, top line. So it's just going to be added damage constantly. And then if you've got Shiva, Shiva can just obviously extend this 1 turn to a couple of turns because of her boosts, because it's a 100% chance. And she will double it. Like I said, I think this guy's going to be nuts. Like, legitimately, like, so crazy for Faction Assault. Teamed up with Shiva as well. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be very interesting to see. The only downside of this character I could see for Faction Assault is you can't auto, because he's not going to get any time when he's going to do his basic attacks to take advantage of his lacerator. So you're going to have to do that manually. But if he's in a team with like a Shiva, she can just be doing the one that's doing the laceration, and he's just stacking up bleed on top non-stop. I actually kind of like these. I kind of like these upgrades on Old Man Gregor. I'm not going to get Limit Break 3 though. This guy's nuts. He's so hard to come by. So hard to come by. But I like his visuals as well. Visuals look really nice. So that's it for all Fast Limit Break 3 upgrades. If you are going to enter the giveaway, guys, make sure you follow it to the letter. It's pretty simple. You just got to follow and write what you see on the screen. and then just follow the instructions which I say. It's pretty basic. Don't add any words in the middle. Don't change any words. It's got to be exactly as it is, because the software I use just picks up exactly, that phrase. That's all I pick up. Good luck if you do enter. I'll be doing those draws all at the same time. Every single trait will be drawn all at the same time, probably midway through December, before Christmas. So a nice little early Christmas present for a few people. That is going to be the end of my video today, guys. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.